Hey guys, it's Super FPV here, back at it with another video. And before we start with this one, just like all the other ones, remember to leave a like if you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want more content just like this. And let's get on into it. For those of you guys who don't really want to watch the entirety of this video, here's the TLDR, the too long did not read version of this. This thing is bonkers. This thing is amazing. With 3 milliseconds of input latency, this is the fastest thing that actually exists out there. This is the fastest available radio and telemetry link out there right now, and you can actually feel it. Me more than others probably, because I actually fly like an Frsky XM Plus receiver usually. Until this moment, I've been flying strictly Frsky XM Plus. So you can imagine the difference that I noticed, because Frsky is usually, if I remember correctly, between 20 to 25 millisecond latency, and going from that to 3 millisecond is insane. This is the fastest one that they've made so far. This is the fastest one in the market so far, and if you want the fastest and the greatest, this is what you want. For those of you guys who want the long version of this thing, let's get to it. It's not going to be super long because I'm not including the how to install tutorial into this part of the video. That I'm going to make a whole separate video of, and I will upload shortly after I upload this one. But let's get on into it. So if you can actually find one, this thing is roughly $129.95 if you get the starter kit. Alone, I believe it's $69.95. I'll put the price up on the screen if I'm wrong. It's kind of hard to get one, actually. It took me a while to actually get this one, and it's because of how good it is, and people have been hyping it up, and I kind of fell into the hype, and now I believe the hype because I'm using it firsthand. It's amazing. It's actually very great. But if you don't buy the starter kit, which I don't recommend doing if you're buying Tracer for the first time, definitely buy the starter kit. It's only $69.95, I believe. And then you got to buy the antennas and the Nano receiver and everything. So buy the starter kit. Starter kit is $129.95. If you're going to buy it, buy the starter kit. So I bought the Tracer starter kit. What exactly comes with this thing? It comes with a whole lot. It comes with a whole lot. Primarily because there's 3 times of stuff, because you got 3 drones worth of stuff in your starter kit, because that's the point of the starter kit, obviously, right? So obviously it comes with the pièce de résistance, the Tracer Micro TX. It comes with 3 Tracer Nano RXs, and then it comes with 6 TBS Tracer Immortal T antennas, which is a lot, because you know it's diversity for each of the Nano RXs. And then it comes with a bag of goodies. The bag of goodies have a clear heat shrink, which is nice to have, and it comes with a bunch of wires or cables for your soldering needs. And then it comes with a little metal tab connector thing if you don't want to actually solder anything. And then finally it comes with the QX7 mod piece that you definitely want to put on, and I will talk more about in the upcoming video where we actually install this mod piece into it. So what exactly is the super hype about this, and what are the technical specifications? This thing has 250 hertz refresh rate with 3 millisecond latency, and that's bonkers. That's insane. That's like going from a TV to game to a 144 hertz monitor with 1 millisecond response time, which is great. You know what I mean? That's like a serious upgrade. That's great. Like, it's like one of the fastest things you can do, and one of the best things you can do to your gaming experience, obviously, right? It's on 2.4 gigahertz, so that's different from Crossfire, which is on 900 megahertz. This thing is not going to go as far because it is a shorter wavelength. If you want long range, go with Crossfire, because that's the best for long range, obviously. Everyone will tell you that. So the website, the TBS website, actually says 15 mile plus / 25 kilometer plus range. I would take that with a grain of salt, because that's very far, and 2.4 gigahertz I would not trust to go that far. I would definitely get Crossfire for that. But yeah, I mean, like, you could always slap a Peter the Penetrator antenna on this, and you'll be able to get some decent range. Obviously, you can do some good long range with a reliable connection. This thing can output a power between 25 milliwatts and 100 milliwatts. I usually run it at 25 because I don't need that insane range. I'm not flying super far. So let's say if I was to like freestyle, like from a relative distance, then I would probably crank it up to 100 milliwatts of power. Now, the whole ecosystem with TBS is actually really amazing. It was really fast. It was really quick to bind everything and set everything up. It was actually the fastest thing ever because you don't have to do that crazy thing where you have to press the button, hold it, and then plug in the battery for XM Plus receivers and stuff. And I'll go through all that in the next video that's going to come out soon after this one, where I explain how to how to put everything together, how to do everything, especially with the QX7 mod that I had to do on my controller. So let's compare this to what I was using before and what you may be using right now, which is an Frsky XM Plus receiver or XM receiver. Those receivers actually have somewhat of a variable latency, according to Oscar Liang. I'm gonna put the link to the article that I'm referencing right now in the description. According to Oscar Liang, it's 22 to 37 milliseconds latency on the XM Plus, which is very slow compared to 3. So you can imagine how much of a difference that it makes if you're actually going to switch from an XM Plus to this. If you're going to switch from Crossfire, like normal Crossfire, that's like, I think it was like 10 or 11 or 12 millisecond, and this is 3. So the difference is not going to be as big, but it's still going to be pretty noticeable because that's still around 10 millisecond difference. So the second main thing about this is the 250 hertz refresh rate, and that is the fastest refresh rate there is as of this moment. For TBS Crossfire, the refresh rate is roughly 150 hertz, and I say roughly because the further distance you go, it seems to drop the refresh rate a little bit in order to maintain that long distance. But this is 250 hertz. Supposedly 250 hertz at all times from your controller to the drone, and the drone to the controller. So this thing is absolutely amazing. And for those of you who have used TBS before or have used TBS products before, they are very reliable. They have probably the most reliable link between your controller and the drone. So let's talk about my personal experience actually, now that we have the technical specifications out of the way, and I kind of low-key explained to you why you actually might want this, but let me actually get you an anecdote. So I'm coming from an XM Plus receiver, as you might have heard in the beginning of this video. I am coming from an XM Plus, so just a standard normal receiver that most people put on every single quad, and it's great. It worked great for a really long time, but then I heard this thing came out, and this thing is amazing on paper, and then I put it on, and it's even better in real life, because the difference between this and a normal XM Plus is the difference between an ant and an elephant, because this thing can actually go relatively longer of a distance, even though it's not as long as Crossfire. This thing is far faster in terms of, like, I can actually respond to things much faster. The overall link and the overall quality of the link, it just seems much better. It seems much more reliable. I have out of like the 15 packs that I was actually flew with this thing on my drone, it felt absolutely amazing. The first pack was just like, oh, wait a second, this feels a little different. Feels kind of odd because you're feeling that faster refresh rate. You're actually feeling that difference. And the difference is significant. It's an actual significant difference for me. For those of you guys who are going from normal Crossfire to this for racing or freestyle, might not notice as huge of a difference because, again, the discrepancy isn't as much. But for me, I'm coming from roughly 22 to 37 milliseconds all the way down to 3. So the difference was actually significant, and the stick feel felt amazing. Now, in terms of actual response, it felt like I could evade like a tree in a split second's notice. Or if like whatever I do actually felt like it was actually almost perfectly translated to the quad. And that's this. Like, whatever I do, it just felt like I was actually doing it on the quad near immediately because it's 3 milliseconds. That's insane. For those of you guys who actually fly on a simulator, it kind of felt like flying on a simulator in terms of response, because you're actually getting that response from your controller into your computer almost immediately, right? That's kind of how it felt like. It felt great. It felt natural. It felt fast. That's all I have to say, really. It felt fast. 250 hertz update rate. That's about 5 times faster than typical, and it's definitely the world's fastest link between your quad and your controller at this point. 3 milliseconds. That's also amazing. Again, I got to go back to the computer example. If you're a gamer, if you play video games on your computer or your console or whatever, having a monitor with 1 millisecond response rate versus like playing on your TV is substantial, because you see things much faster, and the response is much faster because you're getting the TV is usually like between 10 to 20 millisecond response, and your monitor with 1 millisecond response, that difference is substantial, and it actually improves your experience. And for me, this improved my experience as a like relatively novice drone person. I felt like this made me slightly better. Now that's up to you guys to judge if my flight footage is actually better than normal, but it made me feel like I was flying better. And that could be a placebo, but that could also be the fact that this thing is actually crazy fast. So let's talk about these antennas. They're so small. They're like really small. You can put these pretty much anywhere on your quad, which is great because the normal Crossfire antennas are like this big, which is pretty big and kind of obnoxious in the front of your drone or in the back of your drone, because you don't want any carbon kind of blocking the signal, right? So you got to put it in the front or the back, or like stand it up pretty much up straight. But these, you can pretty much put it anywhere. You can put it underneath your legs of the quad, or you can put it in the back going like this. It's just much easier to put anywhere. The connector is nice, high quality connector. The antenna itself is pretty bendy, and it's small. It's really nice. It seems very convenient to have and is pretty sweet. The Nano RX receiver is actually pretty small as well. It's pretty nice. It's got this nice white PCB, which is pretty cool, pretty unique, and it's about the same size as the XM Plus receiver, if not smaller, actually, which is, again, size being a convenient factor, means less weight and just means overall better for your quad. So, I mean, bada boom, bada bang, that's great. The wires that come with it, also pretty nice, high quality. Again, the clear heat shrink, pretty nice to have, and that's also included, so that's pretty sweet. So if you actually do kind of want to fly long range, but you're also predominantly a freestyle / racer, I would say go with this. Don't go with Crossfire, in my opinion, because you can always slap a Peter the Penetrator antenna onto this by taking this off and putting the new antenna on. It'll be like this big, but it'll get you that extra range. Definitely not as far as Crossfire, because 900 megahertz versus 2.4 gigahertz, physically that's just not possible. But 2.4 gigahertz is what's giving you that ultra smooth latency, that really buttery, crisp, super fast latency, and that's what you're paying money for. And if you're a racer or freestyle, I highly recommend getting this thing, because it changed the way that I was flying. It changed a lot of minor things. You won't necessarily see it until you actually feel it. Like you won't understand exactly what I'm saying until you actually feel this thing attached to your controller and in your hands, flying and having a great time. So that is pretty much it for this video. I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. The next video will have the installation tutorial, sorta. It's not going to be really a tutorial because many people have done the tutorial. I'm just going to do a quick rundown on how to do everything. And for those Taranis QX7 users, you definitely want to watch that next video, because I'll show you how to install the mod piece and do the specific setting that you want to change on your Taranis QX7. So I will see you in the next one, and thank you so much for watching, and peace.